right, we're going to go on. Okay. We're going to go on and get started. This is the buyer panel. I am Katie Bowman. I am with the Kentucky Center for Ag and Rural Development. If you've been in any of the other sessions today, you've heard me speak twice today. I'm going to be moderating this panel. Today we have Anna Haas with What Chefs Want and the Local Food Connection, and then we have Bo Milburn with the Food Connection at the University of Kentucky, and he is the value chain coordinator for Central Kentucky. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves and talk a little bit about what they do real quick.
Thank you, Katie. Again, my name's Anna, and my official title is Local Food Program Director for What Chefs Want. And you may know this, you may not know this, What Chefs Want is another name for Creation Gardens. Started a business that's gotten much bigger, but started in Kentucky in 1987 and actually started basically as a food hub that was driving around in a little van, picking up microgreens, lettuces, and other things, and driving them to restaurants the next day. And out of that grew a much bigger business that does many more things. So I came into the picture with that company about 6 years ago, but was already doing some food hub work with an independent food hub called Local Food Connection. And I like to think that we're really different from just about any other place in the country, any other company in the country, because of having that background in terms of what our commitment is to working with small and medium-sized farms. I also think, and then I'll pass it to Bo, that Kentucky is unlike no other place in the entire country, and I do get to work in other states for the just high level of where you all are and where all of this already has gone in terms of a food system here and where it can go. So I'm really delighted to talk to you, and I think at some point we're going to have you tell us who you are and what you grow, just so that we can talk to you with a little more knowledge, but I'll pass it over to Bo now.
Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. Like Anna said, my name is Bo Milburn. I'm the Central Kentucky Value Chain Coordinator at the UK Food Connection. The Food Connection is UK's applied food systems center on campus. It kind of came into existence about 10 years ago when the university was negotiating its new food service contract with a large food service provider, and to be kind of in alignment with the values of Extension and the College of Agriculture, they made a commitment to source 20% of the food that's served on campus from Kentucky farmers, and they needed a group of people to do that. So the Food Connection was born, and our current executive director, her name is Ashton Potter, and she created a few programs. One of them was the Value Chain Collaborative. So there's an Eastern Kentucky representative. I represent the Central Kentucky region based on UK's extension map, and then there's also a Western Kentucky Value Chain Coordinator. And we try to essentially broadly make lots of relationships with growers and also buyers, and then build bridges where we can kind of connect those folks to create positive on-farm impacts, regardless of the scale, whether you're looking to sell directly to a restaurant or something large scale like a distributor. But if it's okay with you all, I can walk around really quick and maybe stop at each table and hear a little bit about who you all are, and so we can tailor this conversation a little bit to be really relevant, if that's okay.
Yeah. Great.
I know Courtney. Courtney is in our office also. So I'm going to skip this table, but here you guys go.
Just me? Oh, God. Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Ian. I am from Louisville, Kentucky, and I am a backyard gardener, I guess I'll consider myself, and a student at KSU.
My name's Kelly Raywalt. I work for Kentucky State University in Louisville. I work with urban growers like Ian and try to do some of the work that Food Connection's doing for the state in Louisville a little bit. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Arnold Katende. I work for Kentucky State as an extension associate for horticulture, focusing mainly on controlled environments. Thank you.
I'm Sharon Mallory, Executive Director of the 2020 Farmers Co-op. We're a national cooperative, small-scale farmers cooperative, and we're scouting Kentucky out.
Thank you so much. Get you to introduce yourself. Thank you.
Hello, me and all my guests at my table. Our name is Alethea Bernard, and I am Senior Research Associate and State Health Equity Specialist working with Kentucky State University with our Community Resource Development team and through our College of Ag.
My name is Warner Hall, and I'm a small gardener from Greensburg, Louisiana.
Hi, I'm Emlyn Brooks. I'm a small farmer here in Kentucky. My husband and I own a farm, Turner Brooks Farm, in Richmond, where we have a cattle production, goats, and some local, we have like grown tomatoes, et cetera. So.
I need to email you then. Want to go? Want me to skip? Yeah, okay, great.
Joni Nelson, Kentucky State University. I manage the Small Farm Grant.
Hello, my name is Cor Tietz. I'm a Research and Extension Associate for Kentucky State University in urban agriculture and sustainable farming, I guess, as well. So, thanks.
My name is James Andrews. Currently do not farm at all. My family has a background in farming. Come to be educated. I came to this particular seminar because I have a background in being a buyer. Just trying to see it from y'all's perspective in this industry. Used to working with raw materials, raw goods. I have a couple of ideas that I want to do long term in my own life. So I'm just here being educated.
I'm Gary Tolliver, representing Andrews Farm. We grow vegetables. I enjoyed everything so far since I've been here.
I'm Greg Andrews with Andrews Farm also. Just trying to pick up on more of Kentucky small farmers. We've been coming up here for probably 25, 30 years, so I'm not sure how long it's been. But we always pick up on something that we can take back so we can spread it out in our community.
I'm Michael Andrews. I'm with Andrews Farm too, and pretty much about the same as the rest of them.
Thanks so much.
Fantastic. Thank you all. To kind of get started on our questions, if I can get the words out, for our panelists, I'm going to ask kind of a couple broad questions, and then as I have more specific ones, I'll kind of tell you who they're for. What product qualities matter most when considering new local suppliers? So consistency, certifications, packaging, story. What are you looking for?
You want to go first? No? Okay. What qualities matter most to when considering suppliers? Is that what you said? I think it really depends on who your target customer is. There are barriers and challenges, I think, at every scale, and those are unique to each scale. So considering who you're targeting, we can help you kind of identify what those challenges could be, but I think it really depends on what you're growing, what capacity you have, what scale you're seeking, and those challenges I think are really unique to each organization.
I would agree. And I am a buyer. So I not only direct the program, but I buy all of the local produce in this whole region for What Chefs Want. I buy probably about $80,000 of produce a week just from local farms. That includes apples, that includes lettuce, that includes everything else. So I'm telling you that number to let you know that I'm a personable person and I love to talk, and I would take all day long and talk and talk and talk, but I'm going to tell you that I am a busy person too, and so I'll say a couple things on behalf of buyers in general so that I can help you, help us, help you, okay? I'll just try to talk straight through this. I've got slides and different things, but we're just going to be talking. So thinking about this time period, and I'm thinking most of you are doing vegetables, and maybe some of you do season extension, but this is a really important time period with buyers. So number one, with some buyers, this is an important time period to stay away from them. And that's because it's going into the holidays. So if you want to reach out to a retailer, wait till January. Probably would have had to get in touch with them about before Halloween, maybe beginning of November, but they are high into Thanksgiving season. They're high into the winter holiday season to Christmas. So it's great to reach out to them, maybe give them a week back after January starts. And if you're looking to talk to a retailer, that's a good time to start. For others, it's a good time to start if it's a restaurant. Maybe they've got their head in things, but you might start talking about having a conversation again beginning of the year, because you're probably looking at seed catalogs, you're looking at other things. So one of the product qualities, and I'm going to extend that definition a little bit to your farm, is that your farm is ahead of the game. Your farm is growing products that people want, and you're growing it because you know that they want them, not because only that you're good at growing them. So butternut squash, acorn squash, spaghetti squash, we'll sell a little bit of those. I swear those things could feed the world because everybody loves to grow them. And every time somebody asks me, do you want me to grow that for you? I say, please no. I can't. I disappoint probably 30 people a month by saying I can't buy your butternut squash because there's just so much of it and the pricing isn't good on it, okay? So maybe you talk to a restaurant, maybe you talk to a retailer and they say, please, yes, grow me butternut squash. But that's just an example of one of those things where you want to know what people are going to buy, okay? So best product quality, they want it. Second best quality, product quality is you're being a smart planner, and so you're also really thinking about consistency is something that Katie said. So what I found in doing local food on a smaller scale is that anytime I'd say, hey, I've got some radishes right now, I won't have them next week. I'll probably have them in 2 weeks from then, and then I'll have them for a little while, and then I won't have them. They're like, whoa, I got decision fatigue already. I don't know what to do with that. So if you have a product that you can do either as a cut and come again, where it's out there all the time and you're coming back and you're doing succession planting, or if it's something that, again, it's like radishes or it's broccoli or it's something like that, please try to make sure that you have it. I always say at least 3 weeks. If you can have it 4 weeks in a row or more, that's even better, because people out there who are buyers and don't do this all the time don't necessarily know what the seasonality is. And so it's not like, some do, and they may have a super fine-tuned, oh gosh, the last 2 weeks of June is the perfect time to do this. But for the most part, people are thinking they want to have the same menu for at least a month, maybe even a quarter. So kind of think about those things that you can have and that you can know that you can have, and you can show up with good quality every week, and then plan around that. I could keep going into more of that, but we could also move on, and I can come back.
I have a question that applies to that. So, and this is for you, Anna. How do you manage supply fluctuations with small and mid-sized farms?
Well, that's where it's great to have all of you, right, out there. And so I know some really successful small and medium-sized farmers who, it's not maybe an official cooperative. I'd say a cooperative or a group of farms. Acting together is really one good way. But if you got a neighbor who also grows, or you're doing some different things, be upfront with your buyer. If you're going to provide something from somebody else, you can say, hey, I got a guy down the street or a woman down the street who's growing the same stuff as I am in this category. If I run out, I got a backup. But you got to let them know the name of the farm, and you got to let them know that you're doing that, and explain, I'm doing this for your benefit, so we got a plan B if a hailstorm takes off my crop, et cetera. So I can be consistent for you. I think that's one of the biggest supply chain things. The other thing is if you work with a distributor or a food hub, they're also going to work with other farms. So throughout all of this, communication is really key. Because then they can buy from somebody else as they're waiting for yours to come back if something does happen, and that would be a supply chain disruption. I'll give you one more secret, and then I'll pass the microphone, or we can talk more about other things. One of the secrets, so I get emails from some of the biggest groups in the country who are looking to sell our company produce or beef or other things. And what they do is at a consistent basis, same time, same general time, same day, or days every week, maybe one time, maybe two times, not more than that, they send a price list and an availability list. And they might even give a little crystal ball near the bottom that says what's coming up in the next little bit. You make it short, you make it easy. If you can do a chart or something like that, you want it to be numbers, you want it to be readable, but you want to give people a snapshot, let them know the item, the pack size, and we can talk about all that, the price, we can talk about all that, and anything else they need to know really quickly, but then give them a teaser on what's going away and what's coming in so they know what is happening in the next little weeks. So one of your secrets with somebody who might take care of the supply chain disruption by buying from multiple farms and making sure their customers have consistency is that you want to be consistent on your end in communicating what you have, what you don't, and what's about to happen.
Perfect. That's great. Boas, questions for you. And this is not as related. What barriers do producers face most often when trying to scale up, and how do you help them solve them?
I think, barriers that we experience in Central Kentucky and also in the other regions are transportation, and that is something that What Chefs Want does a wonderful job helping farmers with. Just an example, I've been collaborating with a local school system, and farming itself, production is a full-time job, and then the expectation that you would get out and manage your sales and then do your distribution as well is at times, I think we see an unrealistic expectation. So transportation, and then I think the understanding of the seasonality and availability. A lot of folks who don't have agricultural experience assume that everything is available all the time. So doing education with folks in the community of eating seasonally and understanding when those items are available and when we are all kind of going without.
Perfect. Can I add one thing to that? Yeah, please.
So thinking about what Bo just said of sometimes needing to educate people who don't farm and don't know seasonality. I was saying a little bit earlier that this is such a good time to be not only doing your planning, but to do your marketing and your pre-selling before the season. I was also saying that consistency is key. So this would be an amazing time for you to set out on a one sheet of paper what you anticipate doing next year, when you think it's going to be available and for how long, et cetera, and already be ready for next year. And when you go in to talk to a buyer now, let them know that you have the chance. Maybe bring a seed catalog or two, because you might really catch their attention. They love looking through things that mark or highlight or put a post-it on the things you can grow. Don't show them the things that you can't grow or don't want to grow. But go ahead and if you catch somebody, be ready to help them dream for a little while. I love looking at seed catalogs and dreaming about what I can buy next season. And they may go ahead and give you an order that you can grow for now. Mm-hmm. I would not give them old pricing. I'd go ahead and anticipate what you want to do. And even if you're going, I'm just going to add $1 a box to this. That a lot of times that's what I'm doing. I'm going, okay, just in case I don't know what's going to happen, I'm just going to slap an extra $1 on there, and maybe I don't need to. The other thing that I would do is, particularly if you're a smaller farm or a medium-sized farm that needs to price accordingly for your labor, and because you are doing this product with your hands and on a small scale, I would do price per pound. So I would not, it's sticker shock when even if I know that a 50-pound box of carrots that costs $100 only means that it's $2 a pound, it's sticker shock. I don't want to see $100, I want to see $2, right? And then next to it, it can say 50 pounds, but make me do that math, don't scare me, okay? That's one of the biggest secrets. You could also think about having a 50-pound box, but also a 10-pound box, and maybe make that $2.25 a pound. Because that way, if they don't need 50 pounds and they only need 10 pounds, they're going, I can walk away with a $22.50, what did I say, $2.50, $2.25? Yeah, $22.50 box here, and they've won, right? And you've won because maybe you wouldn't have gotten that sale had you not offered that. So maybe give large, small, price per pound, et cetera. And start maybe too high. That's why I'm saying don't give them old pricing. Start maybe a little bit too high because you can always back down. But it's really hard to go up after you've priced somebody.
Perfect. You answered my next question, so that's even better. What makes a local product worth the price?
Great.
So thinking of pricing, talking about pricing, what makes it worth it as far as purchasing from a distributor side of things, and even from a value chain, from a sales side of things? How do you kind of work with farmers and saying this is worth it, from working to convince them to ask for that price?
Sure, I can go first. I kind of see several different umbrellas here. Local community economics. I think when you're purchasing local products, the money stays in our communities. Then, you know, our individual health. I think generally when you're investing in small producers, they have more regenerative practices, so they are growing in a more responsible kind of regenerative way to improve soil health, which is beneficial. It requires less transportation to get to you, so there's the positive environmental impact in that way as well. All around blanket, I think there's just greater value in the product because you're investing in your community.
Agree, again. And now we're going to take that and help you make the person that you're selling to be willing to pay more for it, right? And that's that if you are selling to them for more than they're buying elsewhere, they're going to have to charge more money for it. So their people on the other end are also going to have to know why they're paying more money, right? And that's, I mean, I can tell you, I told you about $2 a pound carrots. That's may sound cheap to you, but usually carrots are like 50 cents a pound, right? So it's already 4 times, but we can convince people to buy local carrots, even if you have them at $3 a pound, to them by, number one, making sure that you have material about your farm, making sure that you not only have it to show them, but you can leave it behind and help them know, think about, you know, those things that you can buy at Staples that are in a stand-up stand, right? That's just it's a normal sheet of paper. You don't need to bring them one of those, but you need to bring them something to start with that could stand up in one of those stands. So if they wanted to have that somewhere with who they're buying from, help them say it's perfectly sized for a stand-up stand, right? Because you, dear chef, dear buyer, whoever it is, you need to be able to let your customers know the value that they're receiving this product. So also, maybe it's in your price sheet or your, what did you call it? I liked that, a tag sheet. Maybe it's in your sheet, maybe it's a second page to your sheet, but you need to come up with all of the reasons that you are worth that price, and not just know that among us, but make sure that they're hearing it on a basis too. I would highly suggest, I've used this for years, sure, this salad mix costs $7 a pound, and the one that you get from a distributor normally that's not local costs $2 a pound. But you know what? That one that costs $2 a pound, you're going to be throwing out half of it tomorrow. And here I am. I can tell you I keep my lettuce in the fridge for 3 weeks. So you've already made up that difference. In fact, it's cheaper overall. So, think about the things that your friends and family and farmers market or CSA are telling you about your products. Man, that lasts so long. That's got a thicker wall on those green peppers than anything I've ever tasted. The flavor is amazing, so I don't even have to use as much of it, you might tell the chef. That green pepper actually tastes like a green pepper, so they don't have to put tons of it in. All of those things are you need to kind of use your friends, use your family, think about that, but help your audience also know the same things that Bo just said about your products in particular, and then help them be able to market to their folks why their stew, their burger, whatever it is, might cost a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are there any, being a local farmer, are there any permits or certifications or something that sets you aside what you're doing, how you're producing it, that you can add to that list of things you're advertising?
Yes. So there's, are you okay if I start? Okay. So there's 2 schools of thought on certifications. Number one is it's not worth the money because you have to pay more money on it because they have to come out and certify for you. Other people feel like, well, that's the only way that I can, right, and have that seal. I don't know. I don't know where I fall on those. I can see both tactics. I can tell you that one thing, this is just, you may not need or want to go here either, but I can tell you that there's free money in Kentucky if you talk to me to get certified in regenerative practices. And whether or not you would agree or whether or not everybody would agree, that's a big buzzword right now. And that's how to rebuild your soil so that your product actually has higher nutrition in it. And that certification body will help you do the testing, and they're covering the fees for it for 3 years. So that's a pretty cool thing. Again, I'll tell you more in person if you're interested, but that's one of those things where it's like, I have this certification right now, and we've done the nutrient density testing. I am certified to hold more nutrients in my products. That's a good one. There's folks who really believe in the organic certification, and I do in many ways. There's others that believe in, there's Real Organic Project is another one. There's been a certified naturally grown one too. So some of those that also say I don't put pesticides, I don't put herbicides, I use certain practices on my plants can add that. For proteins, there's animal welfare ones. And again, you can either get a certification or you can talk the talk and tell them on your sheet about yourself the practices that you use. My animals do this, my animals do that. This is what it's like to be an animal on my farm. So certifications, non-certifications, but yes, let them know what's behind that.
All right. What should producers have ready before they approach you, Anna? Before they come to you?
Yeah. So
what should producers have ready before they approach you?
So this is going to make me sound like I think I'm more important than I am. Okay, so I'm not thinking that. However, I told you I was a busy person, and I already got some farms that I buy a lot from. So what I would ask people to do is use my friends who are also your friends. So your friends are the value chain coordinators here, whether it's at KYSU, whether it's at UK, whether it's for the state, et cetera. So a value chain coordinator is basically a farm helper to get into markets. And I've mostly talked to all of them to let them know what I would need. And a lot of them can do some coaching. And then they're going to approach me and say, I got a winner for you. right? So you're not necessarily cold calling me. It's kind of like you want to get a job and you're saying, who knows this friend? What are they most looking for? So I'm suggesting, to get us to listen instantly, you get to know us a little bit behind the scenes first. And I trust these folks, again, because I've worked with them for years, and I know that. I would say, don't think of working with us as one of your first steps. And I'm gonna take a second and tell you the steps I usually see people take. So first, I usually see people take the step of selling to your family and friends, or getting to know a product yourselves. So that helps you know what you can do well, that helps you get your test market. Then I see people doing a farmer's market or something like that, maybe a CSA, and that helps you get to the general public a little bit and get some more feedback. So you're still getting ready, you're still kind of honing it in, what you do best. The third one is, before you even start selling to us, you'd sell to somebody like Locals. Well, actually, not even Locals yet, but you'd sell to one of those, to a restaurant, a local school, right? You get to do what you need to do, what you know that you can do, but get their feedback. And at that point, that's where working with a food hub or with us starts to make sense, because you've kind of gotten that skill down, you know what it is, and you've got that confidence to walk in and say, not only did I do it with all of these folks along the way, but I'm ready to do it on a larger scale. I say that too because we're going to need some food safety certifications, and you want to make sure that you have plenty of markets, and you're doing a good sale there, but you know that you want to grow at that point. I'll let you. Is that okay?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like Anna said, I would just encourage you to connect with folks who exist in Kentucky and these really robust resources. Value chain coordinators are helpful, but also Extension has a lot of resources that can help you find opportunities that are right-sized for your scale and the lifestyle that you're trying to achieve. More is not necessarily always better, depending on what your limiting factors are, if that makes sense.
I'd also encourage, I was just at something last week at the National Ag Marketing Conference that was small farm business planning. And it doesn't need to be, it could be on a sheet of paper with a pencil. But we have friends here who know how to do it and who know how to help farms do some business planning. If you don't know yet, if you don't know yet, and I'll just name K-Card. Do you guys do it at KYSU too a little bit? Okay. So this is your business planning friend. But, and maybe I shouldn't say you could start off on the back of an envelope with a pencil. She might get mad at me. But
No, you can.
But, okay, you can.
Just don't send it to me.
Right.
Just
But you
type it up
gotta
first.
know, unless it's a labor of love and you're gonna do it at all costs, you gotta know if you're actually in the red or in the black a little bit, right? Especially if you wanna get bigger. So I'd have done some amount of, it took me this many hours, or I actually paid somebody. Did I sell enough of it? I had somebody say that her sweet potatoes didn't pay the rent. So she could not sell sweet potatoes for the amount of time that they took up that space. She should not have used that row to grow sweet potatoes. They did not pay the rent because she didn't get enough out of it, and they took too long. Okay, so those are the things you want to each season be like, didn't pay the rent. This one did. This is a good crop for me, right?
Okay, last question. This is a biggie. Oh, go ahead.
Let me ask this question. Thank you for giving what I consider to be like entry levels and things. But if a small scale farmer wants to sell to the food hub here in Kentucky, is it about volume? Is it about consistency or quality? Probably all of the
Yes.
above, but I think I'm keying in on the volume, because a lot of times small scale farmers want to go from 0 to 100 as opposed to doing the friends and family. Hey, what does this look like? What does it taste like? Okay, great. And I'm going to go to the farmer's market. They want to go from, I'm going to sell to the food hub.
Yep, sure. So if you want to do that, you're going to need to teach yourself quickly a few things. And I think one of the best things that you can do if it's in season is to go to a produce auction and stand there with your notebook and take notes. So how are they packing the green peppers? Right? They're going to be, and I'll tell you an example. What you'd be looking for is, oh gosh, that's a wax bushel box. I want to make sure that I can market my peppers in a wax bushel box. Oh wow, there's a spec here that's called a chopper, and there's a spec here that's called a jumbo or an extra large. There's one that's a large. So you you can actually then look at that. So see what you observe. They'll talk to you too. Say, maybe someday I want to sell to this too. If you need to find out some information, because maybe that'll help. Can you tell me a little bit about the specs? And that's the term you want to use. You want to learn about the specs on something. You want to learn the pack size. You want to learn the specs, and you want to learn what the going rate usually is too. And a lot of times the Food Hub can teach that, but they'll be super impressed, even if you don't have much volume. Because I wouldn't plant things and say if I plant it they will come. I'd start and do a pilot on different things each year. So maybe you do 10 things and you do small to medium size amount of it, but you do it really well. You make sure you take your time getting it to look like what they'll probably anticipate seeing or what a distributor would like to see, and then you've got that. So I'd put, believe it or not, at first I put volume last. I would put quality, consistency, and matching spec. I don't remember if I said this yet, but once you get home from the produce auction and you've observed or you've seen a list of what they have, then you type up spec #1 green bell pepper. And the USDA is going to tell you all this. It's kind of mumbo jumbo, but it's also kind of not. A jumbo pepper shall be, I'm making this up, 4 inches or it should have nice lobes. A chopper pepper can be whatever. That's a #2, and they call them choppers. And both of those go in bushel boxes, and you're going to sell the choppers for less. So that's grading, specs, pack. There's wholesale manuals that are out there. I think you guys use one. You probably have one. You probably have some too. And then you do your self-learning. Skip the rest of it, but don't skip the learning behind it.
All right. What is your biggest piece of advice for farmers who want to get into wholesale or even just selling beyond the farmer's market?
I would encourage everybody to differentiate their product. I think that competition can sometimes be crushing when you have apples to apples to apples. It's just a race to who can produce them the least expensive way. But if you can create a narrative behind your product, if you can grow something that is more specialty if you're growing at a small scale so that you don't have the same wide open competition. I met with a grower last week who's raising and processing ostrich because it is a red meat alternative for folks with alpha-gal, the tick-borne syndrome. So, there's not much competition there. So they were able to access every market that we've approached. But if you're, selling ground beef, there's a lot of competition. But I would encourage you to create a narrative around your product or have something that is more specialty.
And with that narrative, I think of the breed you're using, think of the what tastes best. What are some of your best products and qualities, just as an example. My answer, and I don't ever want you to forget this, is that whenever you are thinking about growing your farm, I want you to walk over and look into a mirror. And I want you to stare into your eyes for a little while. And I want you to think about, who am I at my core, and what do I do best? And what do I not do best? Because you really, 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 really need to know that and be honest with yourself. I have probably worked with more than 500 different producers or talked with them or considered working with them. And I've gotten to the point where sometimes I go, oh, that's a statement that I really wonder if that's true or whether they want to believe that about themselves. I can tell you that I'm a terrible paperwork person. And I'll find myself telling people, I'll take care of that, da, 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 da. If you're a terrible paperwork person like myself, you need to find a friend, phone a friend, right? And make sure that they're part of your business, or that they're just being your friend and helping you with that, or they're holding you accountable. So it's, that's basic business, whether it's farm or not. That's basic life of know thyself, be honest with thyself, love thyself for those things that you're good at, and forgive yourself for the things that you're not. But somebody in your life, or some way, that's still got to get done for your business, because that's going to be the biggest barrier to working, I think, with a buyer, and to really scaling up is not running an effective business because you're snowing yourself a bit.
Does anyone else have questions? Yes, sir.
That's based off of need. Yeah, so it goes up. It probably went up to over 100,000, and over that even for a little while over the high university seasons and the high school seasons before frost. It goes down, and it'll continue to go down over school breaks and things like that. But what a buyer does is that they've got a computer system that's got algorithms that look at last 6 weeks, drop the high, drop the low, and it tells me what I should be buying. And so that $80,000, I spend that real fast, right? Just sending POs, calling people, talking on the phone, and bringing in what I need so the customers are always covered. So that's one theory. I also had a farmer this morning who said, if I sold 30 acres, I don't want to have planted 60. So I don't know the best thing. I always say do a little bit more, try some new things, go ahead, but don't take too big of a step until you know you got to burden the hand.
A lot of times, that's where that business planning and diversification of the markets come in. So a lot of the clients and a lot of Kentucky producers that Anna works with and that Bo we work with on business planning, a lot of them come through us, and we do a wholesale market analysis. So I see all of their sales to all of their markets, and we go through piece by piece and say, okay, What Chefs Want has consistently bought $1,500 worth of product every month for the last 3 years. It's gone up by a couple $100 here and there. You want to scale up from X amount, from, 28,000 birds to 33,000 birds, or 28,000 birds to 33,000 birds. That's possible because your markets support that. So we can go through all of those things. Yeah, the numbers, yeah, we go through the numbers, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sure. Sure. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a scary and risky, right? But to take those leaps. But if you come back and at least do it based on information, then if you made the wrong choice, you got something to blame. That's the it didn't act like it was supposed to. It didn't act like it always does, and that at least feels a lot better than I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we went through that this past year with the LFPA, and so we found ways and new markets for products that had markets and then didn't have markets, and producers that had bucos of things that were sitting and nowhere to go. So thanks to Bo and his group and Anna and their group, they were able to find locations for all these things. And so we just all work. I say we. I am on the outside. They work very hard.
No, we work with you.
So, any other questions? Well, thank you, Bo and Anna, for being here. We greatly appreciate it. I don't know if you all are sticking around for a little bit, but give them a round of applause.
Okay. Thank you for your good questions, too. That was really helpful.